Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm your host, Kayla. I'm your leadership coach, working mom of three, and your guide to building proactive systems that help you lead with clarity, not chaos, as you know. So today we're kicking off a brand new series called Realistic Expectations, where we explore what it means to release perfectionism, rethink productivity, and finally build a version of success that feels aligned and sustainable for ourselves. So our first topic might just be one of the most freeing mindsets you'll ever make. We're going to be talking about why your best isn't the same every day. Because when you realize that your best flexes with your capacity, you stop beating yourself up and start leading with grace and awareness. But first, before we dive into the episode, a quick housekeeping reminder that the Organized Leader Sprint is officially enrolling now. This is my 4-week live program where I help you build your proactive leadership systems so you can stop reacting and finally feel in control of your time, projects, and your priorities. So there's just 4 spots left and bonuses expire Tuesday, October 7th. So here's what you'll get if you join before the 7th. You'll get the Leader's Daily Planner or my Leader Standard Workbook, both the digital and printable version. It's a bound daily planner. It's a work planner. It's really cool. You'll also get my Get Organized at Work Blueprint course, which is a $372 value. You'll also get my Quick Win Toolkit. It's got email templates, meeting agendas, and organization hacks. And my 4th bonus is the first 3 people to sign up get a private 30-minute coaching session with me at $97 value. So there's only 2 of those left. Enrollment closes Friday, October 10th, final, and we kick off our first live, and I'm also recording it, session on Tuesday, October 14th at 5 p.m. Central. So if you missed the kickoff party, not to worry, you can watch the replay and see all the details anytime at kfaconsulting.org/sprint. I'll also link that in the show notes. And if you look back, there was a bonus episode that came out. I think I put it out on Friday. That was the recording of the replay. So you can check that out. All right, let's dive in. So I want to start with a personal story, because it's one that shapes how I think about my capacity, my seasons of life, and what it means to give your best. So when I was in college, I was super busy. I like to say that I had a very full college experience. I was overcommitted probably and constantly moving, but I didn't care. I felt like I owned my time. I was in leadership positions. I was president of Colleges Against Cancer. I held directorships during my time there. I did other volunteerism. I also worked part-time in a laboratory. They called me the lab fairy because I would just come and clean the lab, make reagents, set up supplies, sometimes do my own research projects as an undergrad. And I could stay up late. I could lead meetings. I would write my papers. I would squeeze in social time. I studied. Honestly, I thrived on it. I loved it. I was like in the zone. I always felt like, yeah, there were tough times, but I could do all of it. I could do it all. And after college, when I entered the workforce and I got a job and everything, I did feel a shift. I'd come home from work drained, like mentally and physically drained. And I didn't always have energy for all the extras anymore. And it was interesting. The pace that once fueled me, I was excited to just be everywhere all the time in college. It started to deplete me. And I remember I was on Midwest board committees for the American Cancer Society and different things like that. And I couldn't go to every event. I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm missing out, or I should be at this event and I'm not. And I remember thinking like, what's wrong with me? And something that I had to kind of flip my mindset on to enjoy it was I think it was 2015, I was actually awarded the American Cancer Society's Young Professional of the Year in Minneapolis. And at the time, I
I got the award. I was super excited. I had been on the boards for ACS, done a lot of volunteer work, a lot of advocacy. But after I got it, I remember thinking, like, why did they give this to me? I haven't done enough. I also remember thinking, like, well, I've got to be more engaged. I have to figure out how to do more. And I felt like I was letting people down when I had to sort of say, like, no, I need to focus on my work and my family. And now I know that's not true. I did so much for them, and I was a young professional setting the example for others, and I deserve that award. But at the time, I felt like a fraud. And I kept thinking, like, why can't I keep up in the same way I used to? Why do I feel tired when I'm technically doing less, or I thought I was doing less in my mind? And what I realized now, and what I didn't realize then, was that my capacity had changed. It was not my capability, not my worth, but my season of life was different. The structure of my days were different. The demands of my energy was different. Even the kind of focus that my work required, those things were all different. And the same realization is carried through every chapter since, from being a new leader to becoming a mom of three to running my own business. Each season feels like I have to develop a new definition for what my best looks like. So I want to take you back to another moment that brought me home, or maybe just like a familiar montage of leadership or being a professional. Maybe you walked into work one day, your coffee spilled, your emails are flooding in, you're running behind before 8 a.m. But the day before, you crushed it, right? Smooth meetings, clean inbox, went for a run after bedtime. Maybe you didn't, but we're imagining, right? This is our montage. We did all the things, right? But that morning, you were not that person. And you found yourself thinking, why can't I be like this every day? Like, why couldn't I do that today? I did it yesterday. And then it clicks for you, and it clicks for me in these moments of reflection. I'm judging myself, and we're judging ourselves against a past version of ourselves without honoring that today's energy and circumstances are completely different than yesterday's. It's these types of moments that have taught me the most important lessons of leadership in life, is that number one, your best isn't static, it's seasonal and it sways. And it's not about intensity every single day, it's about having self awareness. So let's unpack this, because if you're listening to this, you're probably holding yourself to a really high standard, right? I know that the people that listen to my podcast are high achievers, professionals, successful leaders, your executive directors, your teachers, your financial analysts. I know that you are like Uber go-getters. You care and you want to show up well. But here's what I've learned through talking to many leaders and coaching leaders over the years and at my work, is that most of us confuse consistency with showing up perfectly. We think being consistent means showing up the exact same every day. And I even fell into this trap the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just not me today. I'm just not being me. But there are many versions of me, and it's not realistic for you or for me to show up the same every single day. So, real consistency is integrity, which means we're just showing up with the energy, with the focus, and with the presence that you have, with the presence we have, and being honest about what's possible today. So, as we have come off the consistency series, a 6-week podcast series that we just completed, I'm so excited to start talking more about, okay, so now we know like how to be consistent in our systems, but how do we talk about the realistic and the unrealistic expectations that we put on top of ourselves? And it's going to be a really fun series. So I'm going to have a different topic for the last 12 weeks here of the year. If you haven't noticed, we're in the first week of October, and we only have 12 weeks of 2025 left. So let's dive into this. When I teach leader standard work, I always remind people to plan your day around what actually fits in it. Look at your entire week, level load it, don't pack it. You can't fill your day around what floods. If you flood out your day and your weeks with unrealistic expectations, you end up drowning in your own energy, and creativity and clarity goes away. So if you've been measuring your value by your output, I want to challenge you today. What does my best look like today, TODAY, today only, given my current energy, time, and season. And when you ask that question each day, you'll lead from awareness, not from anxiety. I mean, easier said than done, right? This is something that we have to do over and over and over to ground us. I want you to think about every day, how can you ground yourself a little bit before the day takes off? And how can you make sure that you are trying to organize yourself and set yourself up for success? So I want you to think about how you can root yourself with these reflection type of questions. And if you want a simple way to start this reflection process, I've got a brand new freebie for you. It's called the Realistic Leadership Reflection Journal. So inside, I've added 10 guided prompts to help you redefine what your quote unquote best looks like today, plus a few quick challenges to help you reset unrealistic expectations. So you can download it for free inside my Get Organized at Work community podcast app. It's really fun. That's where we're diving in deeper into these realistic expectation episodes in this series. I'll be sharing my reflections, celebrating progress. So you can find my Get Organized at Work podcast community. It's free to join. It'll be in the link in the show notes or in the description if you're listening on YouTube. So just click that link, join it, and all my freebies are in my free resource library. That's where you'll be able to grab the Realistic Reflection Journal with all of these prompts. One thing I've realized is that capacity is a living thing and it grows and it contracts depending on your life season, your workload, and even your emotional bandwidth, right? Like, I think we can all relate to that. When you're in a stretch season, maybe launching something big or navigating a change, having a baby, something like that, or taking a promotion, leading a new team, your focus is spread thinner. And that doesn't mean that you're failing. That just means that like it's real life. You're a human being. You're just humaning. And when you're in a flow season, when things feel aligned and manageable, maybe you're on top of everything, maybe things are just kind of status quo and you are like a visionary, your best might look bigger, fuller, and faster. Neither is better. They're both valid. They both just exist in the continuum of our capacity and in the ups and downs in our career and our day to days. So the goal for us is just to notice when you're in a season and which one you're in and adjust your expectations accordingly. And that's one of the most powerful tools that I'm going to be teaching inside the Organized Leader Sprint. It's this weekly reset ritual where you pause and review your week and ask 3 key questions. I'm going to share them with you today. What drained me? What energized me? And what can I release or adjust for next week? To me, this is how people who are human, real leaders, stay proactive instead of reactive. We develop self-awareness. We take notice of what's going on. And then we tweak a little bit every week. We try to be better, but we also recognize that, we are real people and it doesn't always work out perfectly. So all you can do is take notice, have self-awareness, and then try again next time. So if you're craving that type of reset, and if you want to stop feeling like you're sprinting through the week, I want to help you by joining the Organized Leader Sprint, where it's only called a sprint because it's only a 4-week course, if you will, a 4-week lives with me. I'm going to walk you step by step through building your personal leader standard work system so that you can have, by the end of these 4 weeks, a plan that you can use intentionally, you can delegate clearly, and you can finally get organized in your work and in your life. So like I said at the beginning of the episode, there's only 4 spots left, but I would love for you to join us. And it's just, I don't know, I feel like I can teach you how to use Teams and how to make a Kanban board. But something I'm really excited about for the Leader Sprint is just diving in, okay, as humans, how do we create systems for when we're having our worst days? The systems need to support real humans. They're not just about 100% automation because we have automation. So all right, let's dive into what your leadership reflection could be for this week. I want to leave you with more questions or things you can think about as you're trying to think about what does my best look like. So the first question would be, when you think about doing your best, are you holding yourself to a past version of you, right? Like, are you the Kayla who graduated and was working, judging myself against what I used to be like as a student when basically my schedule was almost free? Are you holding yourself against a standard that no longer exists, right? Question number 2 is, what would it look like to let your best be flexible to evolve with your current season and energy? This one, this one's interesting to me too, because it's like best feels like a final standard, because right, it's like good, better, best, but really best can look different on different days. So of course it's flexible and it can evolve with you, of course, but we just don't think about it like that. We think about it with finality. So what if it's not final? What if best is evolving? Oh, that's such an interesting thing to think about. It reminds me of the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, where he talks about basically your kind of like your own glass ceiling and how you can smash it and then it can become your next best, right? Like we put our own limits on ourselves, but we can keep taking big leaps and then the sky becomes our limit. We just kind of keep iterating. So I don't know. I think that's really interesting. So you can take a few minutes to jot down your thoughts or open your, this realistic leadership reflection journal. If you download that for free, start with prompt number 1 and think about, what does my best look like today? And remember, it's not about doing it all. It's about doing what matters given where you're at right now. All right. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this episode helps you breathe a little deeper and remember, your best is enough and your best is flexible. So be sure to grab that free realistic leadership reflection journal inside my free podcast community app. If you're ready to build your proactive leadership system, I would love for you to join the Organized Leader Sprint. Remember, there's only 4 spots left. Bonuses end Tuesday, tomorrow, if you're listening in real time, Tuesday, October 7th. But enrollment closes final for this session of the sprint on Friday, and then we start on Tuesday, the 14th. Check it out. The link's in the description or in the show notes, kfaconsulting.org/sprint to sign up. All right, until next time, I hope you can lead with intention, grace, and have a realistic view of what you can actually do today, not yesterday, but today. All right, take care, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.